Welcome to the Interior Edge podcast, where design isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good too. My name is Joanne McCarthy Colbert of Joe McCo Interiors. I have been working as an interior designer for nearly 20 years. I want to chat to fellow designers and those in the design world about how interior design affects and shapes our mental well-being and what we can do to improve it. So, without further ado, my guest is the incredibly talented and inspirational Wioleta Kelly. She is the top tip DIY renovating queen in the interior design world. We met over 5 years ago when we were both pregnant, and I worked for Wioleta for almost 2 years. And I couldn't be more grateful to her for the information and knowledge she has shared with me over the past few years. So, welcome, Wioleta. Thanks for coming on and joining me on this podcast. How are you?
Hi, Joanne. Thank you so much for having me. And wow, what an amazing introduction.
No, it's very much from the heart anyway, because I have so much to thank you for.
And
Obviously, I
vice
got to do
versa.
my own business and do all of that stuff, and it's definitely, without a do, even when I started the podcast, I knew exactly that you were going to be my first guest, because the wealth and depth of knowledge you have is amazing, and I think it's definitely something that it needs to be shared with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm an interior design geek. There's no denying that. I
Yeah,
could talk
yeah.
about home decorating all day long.
I know, I know. Right. So my first question would be, right, like when we were kids growing up and we were going to school, at least for me anyway, there was never an option to put down, oh, I want to be an interior designer. Now I know that there is very much in today's world that interior design is an option to do. So what did you do when you left school, and what led you to be an interior designer?
Oh, I started very early, even though I didn't know that's the path I want to take. But I grew up in extremely creative home. All my family could literally do something out of nothing. So I grew up watching it and being surrounded by it. And I grew up in early 90s, late 80s in Poland, and my parents didn't have a lot of money, so in order to make my room look pretty, I had to be creative. So I started paper mache frames with cut out pictures from magazines. I was constantly rearranging my furniture and moving things, and that was the early ages. And then I got my first computer and I got absolutely obsessed with the Sims game. And my
Oh God,
favorite
yeah.
job was I didn't care about them going to job or doing things. I loved decorating their homes. And I
Yeah.
think that was the early indication that's what I'm going to do with my life. And then life took me in some unexpected paths. I couldn't go to the school I wanted to. I wanted to go to art school. It was an hour away by train, and my mom said, "No, no, 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 not going to happen." So I had to go to school that was close enough home, and that was economical school. And I did study something I absolutely hate. I hate math.
Oh my God.
Shouldn't say that. So I did that. I didn't particularly enjoy that, but I created friendships that are still lasting and they're amazing. So that was one plus from it all. And then I moved out. The school finished. I moved out from my family home. I went to college and I started renting my first apartment with my boyfriend at the time and his brother. And oh my God, yes, I got into decorating craziness bit by bit. I started painting walls, and now with landlord permission, of course, started decorating walls and doing this and that. And then I came to Ireland in a nutshell. And a few years later, I met my husband. And then a few years later, again, we bought our house, and that's how it all literally started. So I started blogging about interior design because I was looking for inspiration, and I started sharing some ideas on some forums, and people started noticing that I have a great eye. I didn't start noticing it, someone else did. So there are all talks about you should start your own blog. So I did. And the blog within a few years got to be in the first 10 most influential interior designer blogs in Poland. It was called Interiors PL, that was shortcut from Poland, and people love, so interiors people love, and my business is still registered as that, by the way. And then I did my first course, and then I did my other course and another, and I started decorating people's houses in Poland online, and I don't know, the word spread, and I started getting people from local area, and again the word spread and spread and spread. Recession hit. I got a job in Tesco in Abbeyfield, and I was working kind of in the evening doing my interior design thing, and it absolutely took off, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, I think, because even as a child myself, I remember wanting to do art and continue on with art, and I couldn't because not enough people in secondary school were doing it. So I couldn't even follow just art as a subject, not to mind even dive into interior design and all that kind of stuff. And I suppose like your case, my family, yeah, very creative. Well, I have four sisters, so I'm probably the only one that's like huge. Well, I wouldn't say that because I'm artsy creative. My sister would be very creative with words. Like she's made masters in English, all that kind of stuff. But my dad was very much into painting, and my mother loved a bit of DIY as well. So and you say there about maths, about hating maths. Like I hated maths as well. It's not I didn't hate it. It hated me. So that meant like we just didn't have a great relationship after that. But I find now as an interior designer that maths is so important because even like looking in your background there with your paneling, like we need maths and that has to be correct when we're giving out measurements to our clients about paneling.
Beauty of SketchUp.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And putting it together. But even like going back to 5 years ago, like AI wasn't such a massive thing. So we really had to use our minds, really, like as interior designers. But I want to
AI
touch
is
on,
amazing
yeah,
these days.
sorry.
AI is amazing these days. I relied on it so much with measurements. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I love it if I could get fully on board with it now. Just, and I suppose it's just time on something like that. But like we know each other for years because you actually photographed our wedding. So like your creativity stretches
we
beyond
met, I think, when
design.
you had a cafe. I was doing photos for you.
Oh yeah, and you did the painting for the coffee shop. We had a coffee shop years ago. Yeah, that's right. So like your creativity expands to like so many different art forms. It's amazing. I suppose touching on your like you said there about your blog. Like you're on Instagram now and you've a massive following. Like, how would you say you built that kind of following? And because it is so organic. When I look through it, it is so organic. It is just you living your best life, giving your best things out there. Love the top five things. Like, how did you find building your profile? What do you think
I'm
mostly did it
enjoying
for
it.
you?
I do you remember last time we were talking? Was it with you? I think it was with you. We were talking, and I said I totally enjoy creating my
Yeah.
Instagram posts. It's like it became a hobby. Every Saturday or Sunday depends on how much time I have or what's happening. I sit down in the evening when kids go to sleep, and I spend 2 or 3 hours preparing posts for the following week. So they're all scheduled. I don't have to do anything during the week, but like it's my best time. It's my time, let's say. So I totally enjoy it. So I constantly look for ideas. I love reading different forums, and I love watching TikTok videos. That's my little guilty pleasure. And I'm trying to get ideas, but yeah, forums and reading people opinions are the best to gain ideas because you know what people are looking for. So yeah, that's my little hobby. But like I don't know. I love sharing my information. As I mentioned earlier, I'm interior design geek, and I love sharing this information. I always did, and that's why maybe my blog was so popular as well because everything I've learned, I shared straight away. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like, and even when I was beginning my businesses, you were so good, as in giving me tips and tricks on how to try and, I suppose, not even try to build, but it was so organic. You're just giving out so much information, and then it kind of, it's like it just blows. some posts blow and some posts don't.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Like, how do you find balancing your career and as a mother?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Tough. Absolutely tough. I keep
Yeah.
asking everyone, okay, a golden rule, how to juggle it all. There's some better days, some worse days. I think it's because of hormones. I think I'm starting perimenopause, so a bit hormonal here and there. So I have days and weeks sometimes when I'm absolutely juggling it like perfectly, and some other days when everything is just upside down. Like for example, today a bit of upside down day, and that comes down to kids. I don't know, character or moodiness, let's say. If one
Yeah.
is moody or not in the form, straight away the whole household is gone. So, yeah, there are ups and downs. Still looking for that golden ratio, how to juggle it all. I work from home for the last, I don't know, is it 2 years now? When did we stop being in the
Yeah, I
office
think
in
so.
town?
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
So I work from home, so I kind of got a great little routine going on. I drop off kids to school, and then I make myself breakfast, and then I tidy up. So I put washing into washing machine, I wash dishes, brush the floor, etc. Small little things. And by 10 a.m. I'm in front of computer, so I can do lots of different things by, in that 45 minutes. And then on my lunch break, I cook something for guys so that they have something warm to eat when they get back from school. I eat something as well, and then I spend an hour with them when I pick them up from school, change their clothes, feed them, sometimes quick homework, and then their dad take them away so I can work. So they usually go to their nana for a few hours, and then they come back, and depends on how much work I have. My husband will put them to sleep or not. That depends as well on my husband because he works nights and sometimes he gets tired too. So it's all juggle act, literally juggle act in between two of us. But I think we have a great routine going, and yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, sure, I'm the same, like with the two girls, and it's just, it can seem impossible at times. The next thing you hit this 1 or 2 days where you're like, wow, this is it now. I have to keep this going. But again, it's down to everyone in the household. If the kids are sick or come home with some kind of bug that's you turned off, and everything is just all out of kilter. And I suppose that brings me back to how interior design and sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, keep saying.
Oh, yeah, I suppose that brings me back to interior design and how being in an environment, especially you and I work from our homes a lot, all the time. How do you find what is your philosophy as an interior designer? And how do you put that philosophy over to your clients so that it's more about well-being and them feeling better in the space?
So one thing I hate, and I think now before I say what's my philosophy, it's important to mention that we're all different as interior designers, and what is important to me mightn't be important for someone else as clients or interior designers. So my philosophy is I hate clutter, and most of my clients are have young families, and I try to make their life as easy as possible. So try to avoid that clutter for them as well. So that's one thing. Another thing is I want to always be stress free for them. So like I always mention that my design reports that I create for them, they're stress free because they literally don't have to think about anything. They have everything, every information in that design report, and they just follow what's in it. So I suppose these two things would be the most important. Now, the reason why I hate clutter, and that comes down to well-being, is just I'm horoscopal, or sorry, I'm zodiacal Virgo. Virgos hate clutter. Now, my husband is Pisces, hate clutter as well. And when the house gets messy with toys, instantly I can see by us, we get like our heads get like that. We get stressed, and when we are stressed, kids get stressed. So it's important for us that there's no clutter, visual clutter anywhere. Now, it's hard with two 5-year-old kids. but we're managing. I suppose there's, yeah, they have their own playroom and they can play there. But as we know, children always migrate where parents are, so it's not always as easy. But yeah, we have a great routine going, so that helps a lot. And that's what I always try to, as I mentioned, create for my clients.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think that's it really is about creating spaces. Like clutter is massive, isn't it? It's just a massive,
Horrible.
it's a huge, it's so impactful, like it's massive.
Yeah, like
It's,
we have
yeah.
so many surfaces at home that we need to take care of, and the more things we have, the more cleaning we need to do in order to keep things organized and tidy. And like I believe we all want to feel proud of our homes, and if the clutter is there, if you have too many of, I don't know, cushions or toys or things, you cannot feel proud of your home because you have too many things. It's impossible to organize it with a busy family. So it all comes down to fabrics that you use on your sofas or furnishings. They need to be easy to clean.
Mm.
It comes down to furnish hard surfaces as well. They need to be easy to clean. So, for example, instead of marble, I would recommend quartz, which is easier to live with. For simple things like that. And the beautiful thing is that it's all recommended by experience. Crazy
Yeah.
family in here, so.
Yeah, massive experience. And I suppose what I like as a designer that I like to put in that I think is massive for well-being is plants. Now I know you're a big plant person too, and you're actually well able to keep plants alive. You
Not
know,
anymore, Joanne.
no, no, it's hard. Like it's really hard. But I definitely would,
I
and
know.
I say to all my clients like that. It doesn't matter if it's artificial. Now, you don't want it to be like gawky or artificial. You want it to be like a realistic artificial in any way you can. But they still make a world of difference to our well-being, don't they? It's massive,
The
like
power of
plants and
texture.
how that
Yeah,
is. And it's definitely something. And
yeah.
like the
The
new thing
power of
now,
texture and color. Yeah.
yeah, and color, yeah. And obviously green then is such a calming color as well. So, and do you find with kitchens now, like, would you have the new thing now, like when we touch back on clutter there is to keep things off the surface, nothing on the surface.
I
Like,
hate
what do you
that.
think about that?
Yeah, I hate clutter on
Yeah.
like we have kitchen island. I hate when there's anything on the kitchen island
Mm.
because it instantly makes clutter, visual clutter. We live in an open space, kitchen, living, dining, and like kitchen island is a thing that grounds the whole space. And you can see the second you open the front door, you kind of turn towards the living space. You can see kitchen island. If there's mess on it, the whole space looks like a mess. So yeah, I have little basket with a plant, candle holder, and there might be pictures from kids that they brought from school that day before I hang them on the door. But I try to keep it as simple as possible. And yeah, they might be like a butter and bread or something, not put away for a while straight after we make something to eat. But at the end of the day, it's always clutter free and tidy. The same comes down to windowsill. I hate when there's stuff on windowsills. I have few herbs now on it, and that's it. And then yeah, I have everything kind of organized, everything hidden in presses and fridge, and yeah,
Yeah, as much
again,
as you
visual
can, yeah.
clutter. Yeah.
Um, I suppose now when we dive into anyone that's listening, right? And as interior designers, we can all interpret our clients very easily because we just can hear there's certain buzzwords that they use, or in fact, there's some things they don't say that we interpret. And we can
It's
pick
very
out the
intuitive.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think we are as designers very intuitive because we can. It's more about it's nearly what's unsaid sometimes. It can say more, that kind of way. But to people who are listening and who feel like they just can't afford an interior designer. Now, look, I put it out there because I want to demystify interior design, and I want to put it out there that most interior designers can formulate some kind of a package for you if you're struggling to, if you feel like you can't afford, because we want as interior designers touch everyone if we can and help everyone because we know how important it is that your space reflects you and your personality. So if for those who feel like they can't afford and they possibly don't want to reach out, what would be your top tips? So like your Instagram or if you go down to your Instagram, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like I love it. I love like I
Thank you.
intuitively know everything you say, but I sometimes would struggle how to say it in a short synopsis. But you're like so good with your top tips, and it's bang, there you go, and then the person can come away and they have the tips. So what would be your top tips for someone who's maybe going to do like a DIY?
Okay, the biggest tip would be make sure that your house have good bones. So by that I mean great flooring. So please, please, please avoid the popular gray floor. So great flooring. Always try to opt for items or pieces of decor that look natural or are as close to natural elements as possible. So make sure you have great flooring, you make sure you have amazing layout, so you really have to put your thought into how your home is going to work, how you're going to move around your home, and how you're going to use it. So that comes down to kitchen layout, for example. This has to be done to the T, it has to be perfect, it has to work for you. And now only because certain kitchen layout works for one person, it doesn't mean that the same layout will work for another person. We're all different. So, for example, one person might need double oven because they like baking more, and that means they need more space for, baking essential, while another person mightn't cook that much, might, indulge on takeaways more often. So this kitchen will look totally different to these two families. So this is very important to know how you're going to use your kitchen. A lot of people opt nowadays for kitchen islands, and they're amazing. Like it's a natural kind of grounding place. So if you, I bet you everyone will agree with me. The second you have visitors and they come over to your kitchen, they always gather around kitchen island. This is an amazing place for gathering people around. So make sure you have if that happens a lot, make sure you have comfortable bar or counter stools, because you don't want to be sitting on the chair and constantly slipping down, or you're not comfortable sitting on it. So it all comes down to detail. So that's another thing. Make sure that the materials are using on your furnishings are perfect for your family. So for example, again, there's no two same families. If certain fabrics won't work for one family, and that family might have, I don't know, two young children without any allergies, the same fabrics won't work for another person because someone is asthmatic, for example. So make sure you think about literally any aspect of your life. And as an interior designer, I always tell my clients, please bear with me. I'm going to ask you so many questions. You'll be sick and tired of me. But these questions are essentials. I even ask my clients, how do they sit on the sofa? Do they curl up? Do they stretch out? Do they lay across? I want to know everything. And like some questions may appear as nosy, but like I don't care. Like I need to know these things in order to get the design report right. So it's and then in the end of the day, of course, colors are important. So you need to make sure you know what direction your home is facing. So north-facing rooms will need totally different colors than south-facing rooms, and etc. etc. I can talk and talk and talk, but yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's so many things to think about decorating home. It's not only colors. Lots of people say, you're an interior designer, you're picking colors all day. Yeah, it doesn't come down to this
No, it doesn't.
as much. No, it's all about dynamic, it's about proportions. So for example, if you're using existing sofa and your sofa is extremely bulky, which was very popular years ago, you need to make sure your coffee table is not bulky. So it's all considering these little things. So yes, measurements. If your room is, for example, lower, you're not going to use the same furnishings as in very, I don't know, in a space with a vaulted ceiling, let's say. So it's you need to know how your home is going to look like, how you're going to use it. You need to literally write a list of every space that you're going to decorate, and make sure you know what's going to happen in the space, how you're going to use it. So for example, bedroom, are you going to work in the guest bedroom, like myself, for example. And then you have to make sure you have enough storage, because guest bedrooms are always amazing for dumping all the clothes that we don't use. Then you need your little space for office, for work. If you do lots of Zoom calls like us, we do talk online with our clients a lot, you need to make sure the wall behind you looks okay as well. So it's all down to these
Yeah.
details.
It's massive. We've so
Yeah.
much to think about, but we do it so innately, don't we? We just do it like it's not something we even think about. And I
No,
think
we do
that's
it.
yeah, it's very natural. And as creative people, sometimes we might struggle to understand how someone mightn't see it. Like my wife, Katie, you know Katie. She would 100%, if I showed her a floor plan, no, there's no, like, no, don't give it to me like that. So I would have to give her, like, the walkthrough that we can do up in SketchUp and all of that kind of stuff for her to understand the kind of concept. But and which is that's why we do what we do. We find new ways all the time of getting, like, I when I do consultations, and I'm sure you're the same as well as all other designers. I have the room designed by the end of the consultation. Let's say we're
In your head,
doing a one
yeah.
hour. Yeah, it's done. It's in the head. I have the colors. I have everything. I just have to. Most of my time is putting it together to show them how it is. So, how do you find, like, AI and keeping up with all those systems? How do you find, like, do you find you're competing with AI, or no, you're joining it?
No, I'm a geek. I love all the little technology things, and the
Yeah,
second AI came out, I was like, yeah, I'm
yeah.
testing out. I got great few tips from our designer friend Sarah from Dan Air Designs, and she told me
Mm.
about ChatGPT. I haven't even heard of ChatGPT that time. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, I'm going to use it. We'll see. Excuse me. So yeah, the second it came out, I was testing it, and just to give you a perspective how I might use it. So for last few days, I was working on Airbnb in Bahamas in America, and the lady, my client, bought some furniture already, and the furniture were very different to what vibe she wanted to achieve
Mhm.
in the house. So I use ChatGPT to give me a few ideas how I can merge the kind of tropical vibe with really heavy, bulky American style furniture
Mm.
that didn't suit that vibe at all. And I think we did an amazing job, because she's delighted with it. She's shopping right now for all the bits and bobs. So yeah,
Oh,
it
wow.
turned out
That'd be an
amazing.
exciting one to see. That would be really exciting to
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. So,
So like ChatGPT is
yeah.
amazing to kind of give you inspiration when you're stuck in the,
Mm,
you don't know how to move forward. Amazing to give you little tips. Now I didn't copy everything, or I didn't use
mm.
everything it told me or showed me. But I did get influenced by that, and I think it's an important, as a creative person, we do get stuck sometimes with our creativity, and I think we can use AI to our advantage.
Yeah, 100%. I think at the beginning I was a bit like, "Oh my God, is this gonna compete with what I'm doing?" But in fact, it's so helpful. Do you know when you're yeah, we just reach blocks sometimes, and you just need that bit of something that'll open your mind again and free it up. In terms of, like, you have, and you're 100%, like, anyone I talk to would know you for DIY. Um, like, you're a massive DIYer. Like, every time I talk to you, or we go for coffee, or we have a chat, you're doing something else. You've done something else. You're doing something I like, and I'm like, Jesus, how do we keep up with Violeta? But how do you, how, if you were to give advice to someone on how to start DIY in any respect, like, what would be your go-to DIY?
Oh, start small. I always say start small. Like, there are certain things I won't touch because I have no patience, knitting, crocheting, things like that. But like, I love building things with my hands, and that comes down to my childhood. I grew up with grandpa that was like MacGyver, could do anything from anything. But uh, how? What could you start? Like, what is getting popular again these days in DIY world is. are little tables for sofas. You could easily make something like that. So did you, I don't know, did you see them? People buy two trays, round or oval trays, and they split one tray in half, and they glue it this way,
Oh
if that
yeah.
makes sense. To
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
create letter T. And then this is perfect to slide in between your cushions on top of the sofa. That's such a cool, easy DIY anyone could do. So maybe start small, get your vibe kind of going. Yes, I made that. Because the more you kind of succeed creating something, the more you want to do it. It's kind of addictive. That's why I do
Oh
it, I
yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's good, yeah. It's good. It's just something to not even be frightened by. And I suppose that's easy for
No.
us to say, but like it is something just to not be frightened by. And definitely I would say to anyone um that's interested in DIY to give your page a follow, because and scroll back through the whole lot. There's so much there to gather. Um, so we're just coming up to the end, but I do want to do a little quick fire round with you. Okay, so it's just literally quick. I think it's only about 10 questions, something like that.
Okay.
So,
Should I be scared?
no, no big
You're
dark
keeping me
secrets
on
here,
my
Violetta.
toes.
No. So, minimalist or maximalist?
Minimalist.
Favorite design trend right now?
I still love country, modern country.
Yeah.
My heart is set in it for years now, but I can do any style. But yeah,
Yeah, that's it. And one trend you wish would go away?
oh, I hate maximalism.
Don't you,
It's
like you really have to think
too
that,
much
yeah.
clutter. Yeah,
Your go-to color palette.
neutrals always.
Biggest mistake people make in their homes.
Buy furniture that are way too big or too small for their home. I see it all the time. Rooks, especially.
Yeah, that's true. Too small. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
rooks are tiny. Yeah, doesn't
yeah,
make sense.
yeah. Best budget-friendly upgrade.
Budget-friendly upgrades. Change your hardware, like kitchen handles on the cupboards and drawers, and make sure your kitchen have two different styles of handles in the same color now. Change taps and door handles on the internal doors.
Okay. One thing every home should have.
Plant.
Yes, yeah. The most underrated design element.
Oh, one only. Oh,
I know, I know,
lamps.
I know. There's so many
Lamps.
out there. What is it?
Lamps. They can
Lamps. Oh,
lamps.
yeah.
They can
Yeah.
totally make a space.
Yeah. Massive. That's a big one. Yeah. Open floor plan or defined spaces.
Open floor, and that's because I have one. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But defined spaces are coming back.
They are. Yeah. They are massively coming back. I think people are having a mix of both now in their homes, aren't they? They're having the open plan, but they're making sure they have a separate sitting room now, which
Yes,
is always a good thing. If you weren't a designer, what would you be?
I studied advertising in college. I possibly advertising.
Yeah, you would. You'd be very good at advertising. Favorite place for design inspiration?
Ooh, any shop. Actually, no, I'm not going to say any shop. TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. Pinterest, I swear, like Pinterest, I nearly have shares in it now if I had to pay every time I used it. So one home item
Oh,
you can't
Pinterest
live
is a lot
without.
of AI pictures now.
One home item you can't live without.
One item. Oh, my bed. I love my
Yeah,
bed.
that's it. Yeah, the bed or the coffee machine. I think they're two
Yes.
massive things.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks very much for coming on. And what's your next move in this interior design world? Are you continuing with how you're going? Have you any big things that you can say you're doing or not doing?
I don't know. At this moment, I'm taking it day by day.
Yeah.
Before I had kids, I was always planning and planning big and organizing different things, and I was running courses and, different things. It comes down to lack of time. I had a lady on Instagram, I think last week. She asked me, "Am I running any courses?" And I was like, "I wish I could." It literally comes down to lack of time. I work Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturdays as well to catch up on things. I get tired. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I'm so sorry. That's so boring. But
Keep doing what you're
maybe when
doing. It's loads.
maybe
Yeah.
when kids get tiny bit bigger, when they stay in school tiny bit longer, it's still very kind of challenging and very demanding to be a mom at this time. So they're only
Yeah.
5, so and there's two of them at the same age. So
Yeah, that's a lot. It's intense. So, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram, Violeta_Kelly. I'm on TikTok, Violeta Kelly, and anyone can WhatsApp me. I absolutely hate phone calls. I don't know. I have a fear of phone calls these days. Anyone can catch me on WhatsApp. Just send me a message, send me an email, and we can chat. No problem. I love chatting.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And thank you so much, Violetta. I'm sure we'll meet
Thank you
soon
so
for a
much,
coffee,
Joanne.
but thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you. Bye.